This is Mattastrophic Music. It's a creature double feature.
Welcome, campers. You are tuned into the new podcast called Mattastrophic Music. And tonight, we are talking scary movies.
Yes, dude. You slayed it. So this is something new. This is the first time we're a little bit outside of the music space. 2 horror films that Duffie watched both of these this week.
People love Halloween. They love scary. They love creepy, spooky. People love all that, you know?
So, I have some questions for you today, sir.
This is uncharted territory.
2014's It Follows, directed by David Robert Mitchell, starring Maika Monroe. My first question for you, Duffie, is what are your thoughts on possession films?
I like them. I don't get to watch many of them because, you know, being a married man, typically when you watch movies with your significant other. And mine really does not like possession movies.
I totally empathize with that because these situations are absolutely frightening. Well, I guess we should explain to the campers that you asked me specifically for scary movies that had come out in the last decade.
Yeah, I did that because I just feel like that's within the range of time where I moved out of state and I had a lot of different things going on in my life, and so I feel like I missed like the bulk of the scary movies that I missed are in that time frame.
Okay. So yeah, I put together a stack. A 4 stack for movies is a heck of a lot harder than 4 songs. So we picked a nice double creature feature. And with that in mind, I kind of picked different genres that I thought might vibe with you to give you a loose idea of what they were about.
And you know what? I don't think... Oh, I was going to say I don't think I watched the trailer for It Follows.
Okay.
Maybe I did.
It's nice to go into this movie without knowing at all.
Yeah.
It does have that element of suspense throughout it. Very persistent in its suspense.
Yeah, I had no clue, like, what I was getting myself into. Like, how scary was this going to be? You know, I kind of like that.
I feel like it is up there with Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Is it the Donald Sutherland one from the 70s? There's something about that movie that's just really unsettling, you know, from start to finish. And this has almost the same vibe. My question for you is, are you more of a jump scare? Are you more of the gore? Or are you about the creep, the subtle, strange eeriness coming?
I like it all. I do like jump scares. It's very thrilling to me.
Are there one of the 3 that is more horrific to you? Something that is it more fearful?
Sometimes gore can go too far, I think. I can handle some pretty gross stuff, you know, like I'm a fan of Evil Dead.
Yes.
I like when it goes over the top. I guess it just depends on the situation in the film and how real it seems, or how, not even how real, but how, like, intense it is.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
The gore comes with, like, a super intense scene where, like, the actors are really selling that suffering. It could be a little much, you know?
Talking about this particular movie, what were your feelings coming away from it? Did you feel like it did a good job to creep you out? Did you feel invested?
Yeah, it was creepy. It didn't bother me to the point where, because I watched it at night and I was home alone. When you're used to sleeping in bed with somebody else every night, without a scary movie, sleeping without them can be, like, tough to fall asleep, you know? My wife was gone. I didn't really have a hard time falling asleep after this one, so it didn't bother me in that way. I think a lot of the horror I guess, or a lot of the creepiness in this movie, actually, I felt like it came from the use of the music and the sound effects. They went really hard and really heavy with like trying to scare you with that weird music, and it was loud and bizarre, you know. But I thought the story itself was original and unique. I do like scary, ominous figures.
Yeah.
Kind of like from The Grudge and The Ring.
Yes.
Somebody just kind of like stalking you that's ghostly. I think that's cool. And I liked that in this movie, that ghost or whatever it was, its appearance kept changing.
Yeah.
And so that was cool because you didn't know, like, when it came through the door, what it was going to look like.
I want to say the soccer field they were sitting in, and then the conversation scene sticks with me. They're sitting there, and then the figure is so far in the background. This is the scene that creeped me out probably the most in this entire decade of horror. As we were talking while we were starting the fire, my sense of horror is kind of weird. How I like things that happen in the background that you're not really supposed to pick up on. Then it comes into focus. Like, that creeps me out because it's almost like this thing's happening and you're not really supposed to be aware of that. And then suddenly it's on you. And I think some of that has to do with Wizard of Oz, where there's the scene with the Tin Man and one of the Munchkins hanging themselves in the background.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's been debunked, but there's a part of your brain that just wants to keep it.
Okay, good.
Yes, it has been debunked. And there's like this part that I saw real life horror in something that was supposed to be so beautiful. This thing, the movie, the driving force behind it, is about something, an act, that's supposed to be beautiful, but then it's like this horrifying entity.
Yeah, I do like in this movie that the ghost is always coming after you, but it walks. I mean, that's kind of like, it's a ghost, so it's like supernatural, but it's like walking. It's not fast, and if you take a plane from New York to California, give it a couple weeks and it'll be there,
Persistence of it. It walks like a zombie, right? Watch all these zombie movies, and they get stuck in whatever, the slow zombies. You just get a little bit of a leeway. Yeah. And then they eventually lose the interest in you, whereas this creature does not.
Right. You are, its sole purpose is to come get you. Nobody else. It doesn't want anybody else. You mentioned the sex part of it. After you said that, it does seem a little weird that they were trying to, like the couple times where they had the sex scenes, the characters were kind of trying to be into it. You're just doing it to pass the demon on or whatever it is. I mean, why are you you're looking into each other's eyes? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Seriously? I mean, come on. My face would be like this look of terror on my face. And I like how they tried to kill it. They tried to kill that ghost. I mean, come on. Why would you think that you could kill that thing?
That's true.
The pool, they had a plan, kind of capture it and kill it. But, I mean, why would you even think you could kill this thing? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I guess if it was me, I would be trying to kill it too.
Exactly. And on that note, oh boy. Let's go from that to something even more disturbing somehow.
Yeah.
2019's Color Out of Space. Directed by Richard Stanley. Starring Nick Cage.
Hell yeah!
I got my Nick Cage shirt on. I am excited to talk about Nicolas Cage in this movie.
The first thing that I want to say...
Yes.
With It Follows, you asked me my feelings, walking away from the movie.
Yes.
So this movie had me feeling fucked up afterwards. Definitely felt a little weird, off, unsettled. Checked my pulse even. I'm like, do I feel, am I okay? Something weird going on with me? I liked the movie, man. It was good. It was fucked up and it was good. I love, you had mentioned to me, talking about these movies, giving me a little bit of heads up what I was getting myself into.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the color palette of this movie. I really liked that.
Yeah, they did a great job. The idea that even though we're seeing these violet pinks and purples and these really bright, comforting colors,
Yeah.
There actually is a color happening that you can't see that's frying your brain. You're having a complete breakdown along with Nick Cage and his family.
I loved how this movie started out. Felt like not a horror movie, you know? Like a regular movie with the characters and everything, and it looked bright and cheery. It developed the characters really well, I feel, in this movie. Right from the start, I felt like I really understood who the daughter was.
Yeah.
The dynamic of the family and everything.
It was a believable performance by everybody that this was like an actual family. So sometimes you see these families in Hollywood movies that you're like, are these really, I guess people act like that. It feels like they're people that are mimicking the way they think their families actually act. And as soon as that thing crashes, the smell, the first thing he reacts to it, he's almost like annoying about it. You smell this? You guys smell this? He's immediately gonzo Nick.
Yeah. With Nick, when he starts going cuckoo, you notice how in those times he like changed his voice. He was reading poetry or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was like speaking in a strange way. His inflection, he was going up on words and stuff.
Now, are you a fan of a long build with an excellent payoff? I know a lot of people don't have the patience for that. There's got to be horror like it, set points all the way throughout, you know, kind of the ups and downs and keep you on that roller coaster. Tell me a real good story and then hit me at the end? Or are you somebody that likes that roller coaster adrenaline, like, you know, the jumps and the horror moments to be splashed in there with...
Yeah, I mean, I don't like craziness to be happening, like, as soon as the movie starts.
Okay.
I do prefer, you know, to get me creeped out.
And I feel like this one, it starts...
Oh, this definitely builds on it.
It
goes full crazy.
It doesn't feel completely crazy in the beginning. They're having a hard time concentrating, or, you know, it's just a general frustration that seems to spread.
Yeah.
The more that they apparently drink the water, it's hard to describe what exactly happens.
Yeah, I liked that it altered everything. Time, space, the vegetation... the animals. There was nothing untouched by this. I like at the end when it shows that whole area and it's just disintegrated.
Yeah.
Where it got real crazy though was when the mother and the son
Oh god, dude. That scene is just
formed into one being.
The mother's like in agony and pain, whining. My subtitle told me. I turned it down. One of those things where I sat through this once. I don't have to put myself through it again for any sort of noble reason.
Good call.
It's one of those movies where I kind of found myself turning away more. As where it's the first time I watched it, I'm going to see this through, but I was grossed out, I was weirded out, and overall disturbed. Got to the end of it and I was like, oh yeah. I told Matt it was just this weird movie with a strange color palette, and I'm like, I forgot how fucked up this movie actually was. If it wasn't for Nicolas Cage being in this movie, I probably would have. I'm not really into that. John Carpenter's The Thing does that perfect level of terrifying / I'm enjoying that terror. This definitely tilts more into the I'm terrified. There is so many aspects of it that feel like if an alien color is going to arrive, this is exactly what's going to fucking happen, and that's scary.
Yeah, if they have the technology to get here, then they can do crazy shit.
Yes. All the stuff that they're doing just feels like they're just toying with us. At no point at time did you feel like Independence Day, you know, America's going to rally together to save the world.
No,
This alien invasion is, you're done.
Untouchable.
We're done. Yeah. I'm happy that I watched it again, but also, you know, I don't think this is one I'm going to revisit anytime soon. I feel like I could safely put this one in the vault.
Yeah, I think so. Once was good enough for me. You know, some horror movies you watch multiple times, but this just kind of left me feeling weird.
Yeah, me too. So this was a fun little extra campfire that we put together. We're going to be doing weird stuff like this in the future, not just with films. We got other crazy ideas that I won't spoil for you campers here yet, but stick around and you never know what to expect with Mattastrophic music.
Ciao.
Ciao.